Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good. Tonight, we're going to be hanging out for a little while. I have a bunch of different topics that I'd like to discuss tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a lot. Let's just put it that way. A bunch of different things to talk about. I want to talk about the Mega Man rumors. Now, as you guys know, Netflix has been creating, let's just call them interesting live actions lately. We've seen Cowboy Bebop, we've seen Death Note, there's many more in the works. But now apparently a Mega Man movie is going to be coming to Netflix. Listen, I like to give things chances, guys. You know? Even with series that I think are gonna be absolute fucking disasters, I still try to watch them. I still try to give them a shot. But, I'm personally kind of over live actions already. And the phase of live actions, I feel like is still just in the beginning phases. I feel like there has definitely been failure after failure after failure. And I've lost a little bit of the hope that I once might have had. But a live-action Mega Man movie definitely doesn't sound good. So we're going to be talking about that. I want to talk about Nintendo. You guys know, I like Nintendo. I like every company to a certain extent. I think that even if companies act shitty and do shitty things, you know, sometimes they still create good content. Sometimes they make statements I like, but their content's bad. It is what it is. But, I've liked Nintendo. I love my Switch. But I wanted to talk about the situation where Nintendo is committing to leveraging the talent of a diverse workforce, hiring more women to managerial positions. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because as I've said many, many times, diversity and inclusivity are good things. These are not bad things. There are tons of amazingly talented people around the world, and they deserve shots at jobs, especially in companies like Nintendo. But when companies make it all about reaching quotas and, oh, we're doing it to look better, that is what I do not agree with. So I want to talk about that. I want to briefly discuss, sorry guys, my brain's a little mushy right now, is dealing with Discord stuff. This stream is not going to be monetized tonight. It might be monetized right now, guys, but YouTube is going to shut this shit down as quickly as possible because of two topics tonight. I want to talk about the Alec Baldwin situation, just kind of give a brief update, because the district attorney is still saying that he could face criminal charges over the shooting on the set of Rust, even though he's changed his story, and of course he deleted his Twitter. So this is a topic that would get me demonetized, but I'm going to be talking about the PlayStation executive fired over pedophile allegations. So this stream is already going to be a wash, let's be honest. So I just figured I'd throw in the Alec Baldwin situation, because you know what? As soon as I bring up this PlayStation topic, it's done. It's over. So it's just gonna be one of those nights, I guess, guys. It's not like it really matters, though, but still, thought I just pointed out. Thanks, YouTube, for not allowing me to talk about specific topics. Great, awesome. Even though it's educational and it's news-based, thanks, YouTube. But I wanted to briefly mention the Alec Baldwin situation, just because there is a little bit of an update. Again, it's not going to be a topic that we're going to talk about for very long, just because I feel like a lot of people right now are kind of over the Alec Baldwin situation until we get some more information on it, until the lawsuits start to happen, and maybe Alec Baldwin makes more fucking dumb decisions to go on social media and do TV interviews and say he wasn't the one that pulled the trigger and he feels absolutely no guilt for murdering someone. So we're gonna briefly mention that, but I am gonna be talking about a situation that's been updating over the past few days. This is a situation I originally wasn't gonna touch until we had more information on, but I feel at this point there's quite a few pieces of evidence, quite a few things, updates that have happened over the past few days that I do feel like I should at least mention this topic. Again, before we talk about it, I'll mention it now. These are allegations, lots of rumors here. The internet can make things look a specific way, especially when things are laid out in a specific way online. But I feel like there is enough here to discuss this topic, even if briefly. So maybe in a couple weeks, if we hear more about this situation, I've already mentioned it once. But the senior vice president of PlayStation has allegedly been fired after he was caught by an independent hunting group known as People vs. Preds for allegedly trying to meet a 15-year-old boy for sex. Which is fucking yikes, guys. Fucking yikes. But there's also been an update that a lot of people haven't talked about, and that's that after all these allegations have come out, his LinkedIn and all the media accounts on Twitters and Facebooks are all gone suddenly. Any tie where it said he was affiliated with PlayStation, like a LinkedIn, is now gone. So we're going to talk about that, and I wanted to just talk about the Santa Inc. situation. You guys know I've talked about it in 2 videos so far. The Santa Inc. situation is a fucking disaster and a nightmare. Santa Inc. is truly probably the worst piece of content to come out in December, and I don't know who thought that this was a good idea besides Sarah Silverman and Seth Rogen, and I guess one of the executives that decided to sign their paychecks. This is a terrible sounding show. And it's been a massive disaster. Seth Rogen hasn't posted on social media in days. Sarah Silverman hasn't posted on social media in days. The Rotten Tomatoes score is very, very odd. It's sitting at a 4% audience score right now. But there's still no critic ratings to calculate a critic score, which is very suspicious. Because, of course, there's so many people talking about the show. You'd think there would be a critic rating already. So those are the topics we're going to discuss tonight. Welcome everyone to the stream. I hope that your evening is going well, and we'll get started in just a minute. I hope you all are doing well. I hope everyone's doing okay. It's the 7th. Tomorrow, Halo Infinite releases, guys. I'm pumped. Also, you have to give me a second. I haven't gotten a chance to post my stream on Twitter. I'm very, very behind. I'm sorry, guys. It's one of those days, guys. You're gonna have to give me 30 seconds because I gotta post this. Yeah, how y'all doing? Hope your evening is going well. Halo Infinite launches tomorrow, guys. Well, technically it launches at midnight tonight. Midnight stream? I don't think so. But tomorrow evening, even though I don't usually stream on Wednesdays because it's releasing, I will be streaming tomorrow night. I'll be playing Halo Infinite. I'm very, very excited. I'm really, really hoping that it's going to be good. We got some unfortunate news about it. That one of the features that people were excited for at launch is supposedly not going to be there at launch, which I'm going to talk about it probably a little bit tomorrow, but do you guys know how in every other, literally every other Halo game, you can go and you can mission select? Like, if I wanted to play the library in Combat Evolved, I could go to that, and that's like mission 8, I think. They don't have mission select in Halo Infinite. It's like every time they do something good, it's like 5 steps back. Every Halo game has had mission select. How do you fuck up mission select? That's literally a feature Halo has had since the very beginning. Oi, oi. Just, ugh, what are you guys doing? What have you guys been doing the extra year since the game was supposed to be an Xbox Series X launch title? They've gotten a whole extra fucking year to work on this garbage. I hope tomorrow when I play it, I'm blown away and the game's fucking amazing. But a feature as simple as mission select isn't in the game? What are you guys doing over there? Honestly, are you guys having Blizzard level frat parties? What are you guys doing? How do you fuck that up? How are you this behind on the game? And yeah, co-op and Forge aren't going to be added till next year, and that's disappointing. It really is, because I love playing the Halo games co-op. I've played all of them co-op so far. I want them to come out with all these features like Forge and co-op, but even as simple as a mission select, you guys don't even have that. Oy, oy, oy. How badly can you fuck it up? I mean, who said, you know what, this game it's good enough to release? Because I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say this game could be amazing still, because the content that's there might be great, but it's features. Oh, that was loud. I'm sorry. It's features like that that make you go, how do they not have this? It makes you just feel so disappointed, like they're so fucking lazy. Like, what are they gonna do? Yeah, you can have mission select for $5.99 a month? I mean, come on. A DLC? You got Cyberpunked? Honestly, the past year's just been fucking Cyberpunk after Cyberpunk. I mean, I don't know how much more Cyberpunked we can get at this point. I truly don't know. Truly. I'm gonna hide my screen real quick and check one thing really quickly, you guys, so give me 2 seconds. I just need to check something really quickly. In Discord. Okay. I was just checking something really quickly. There's a little bit of a disagreement going on, and I wanted to make sure that I checked it out. Halo is 6 years in development and they still didn't finish it. So there's been this number going around that there's been work on it for 6 years, but we've heard that they also, like, 3 years ago scrapped what they had. So is it 3 years or is it 6? Because at this point it seems like 3. There's no fucking shot that this is 6 years in the goddamn making. No shot. Don't give them ideas. I already gave them an idea. Microsoft, if you're gonna $5.99 a month, the mission select, at least give it to me for free for a month. I was the idiot who came up with the idea for you. DLC. Can I get an invite, please, to the Discord? All of the links are in the description. I will post it in chat for sure. But Twitter, Minds, Instagram, Discord, Twitch, backup Twitch account, Patreon, direct donations, all that stuff is always in the description of videos and live streams. But there you go. Any plans to play Halo 3, ODST 4, and Reach in the future? Maybe. I played 1 and 2 on the channel. Those are my personal 2 favorite Halo games. But I might in the future get around to finishing the whole Halo series on stream, just because I love Halo. I know a lot of other people love Halo. I didn't have time to do it before Infinite came out, obviously, but maybe at some point, like, I'd put all the campaigns up on the channel. Doesn't bring in the fact that they made a whole new engine to develop the game on. Yeah. It's rough, because I want to say, you know, clearly they've, over the past year, listened to people and things that people wanted differently, and it seems like they've put effort into it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, even a company putting in the bottom of the barrel least amount of time into a game, they still could create a good game, right? And it seems like they did. It seems like they've created a lot. I mean, it's supposed to be the largest Halo game, but let's be honest, most Halo games are like 6 hours. So that sounds great, but at the same time, I'm gonna play it myself. I'm gonna give it a chance, and we'll see how it is. I know the critics right now, are giving it amazing reviews, but at the same time, those are the same critics that said gamers are toxic assholes that got the Halo Reddit shut down because they were complaining about the Battle Pass system, which literally no one likes. So, you know, take everything with a grain of salt. Everyone's got their biases. Like me, I've said it during my Halo streams, and I've said it when I've talked about Halo. I'm a huge Halo simp. I love Halo, so I've been really excited for Infinite. And that could mean going into it tomorrow when I start playing it. I might give the small problems passes and say, you know what, they could patch that, they could fix that. Full disclosure, I've got my own bias. I love Halo. I've always loved Halo, but at the same time, I'm not that type of person. You know, I might give small bugs in things passes and say, they could patch that. But I'm not gonna just, you know, ignore a whole game's worth of problems. But alright, guys, let's get started. This is, this first topic. I guess a lot of these topics are gonna kind of be quick topics just because I don't want to, overthink a lot of these situations, and some of them, like the first topic, we don't have a lot of information on. But, as you guys know, Netflix has an absolutely terrible track record when it comes to live actions, whether it's taking animated properties and turning them into live actions, video game series, turning them into live actions. We know that, in general, taking something and turning it into a live action hasn't really gone well for many companies, but especially for Netflix. Unfortunately, Netflix is just one of those companies that has a fucking shit track record with live actions. And now, it is rumored that a live-action Mega Man movie will be coming to Netflix. Now, when I instantly think of this, I'm trying to think of the movies that have come out that have been good, like Sonic. Obviously, at first, Sonic was a disaster. It didn't look good. The Sonic movie looked like a disappointment, but after lots of backlash, lots of input, they decided to change the CGI around a lot, and it turned out to be a pretty decent movie. Was it the best movie ever? No. But was it the worst movie ever? Of course not. So when I'm trying to think of a video game movie that's being made into a live action, I'm kind of trying to think in that realm, something a bit more positive. But when I see Netflix, a lot of that hope instantly goes away, because we've seen Death Note, we've seen Cowboy Bebop, we've seen lots of things be taken by Netflix, turned into a live action, and they've been complete and utter failures. But it says, back in October of 2018, Capcom confirmed that the Blue Bomber himself would be coming to fans in the form of a live-action movie from Shonen Entertainment. At the time, no concrete plan was in place with regards to a production schedule, or just who would be playing Mega Man, or even when Capcom anticipated the movie would be released. While answers to these questions still aren't crystal clear, it is now being heavily rumored that the Mega Man film will be coming to audiences via Netflix. Now, my opinion on Netflix still stands. It's been pretty solid. Netflix has created good content in the past, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, lately with things, a lot of their content's been pretty bad. Especially if we look at anime that are turned into live actions. Just failure after failure. So while yes, I want to kind of say they've created decent content in the past, I also look at their recent track record and go, yikes, that's not positive. And I definitely think that a lot of people would agree with that. That a lot of people right now are feeling kind of iffy with Netflix. And like it says, we heard back in 2018 that Capcom was going to be doing a Mega Man movie. Can't wait for them to gender swap Mega Man and it be Mega Mistress or some shit, and it be Brie Larson. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, but besides that, this was announced all the way back in 2018. They were looking for companies to start working with them on this movie. If this is the same project still, obviously. But now, apparently, Netflix is signing up for it, which I don't have a lot of hope for. I try to be a positive-ass Polly over here, but yikes, it's kind of difficult. A story over on site Rockman Corner describes people over at this Shonen Entertainment are hard at work on a live-action Mega Man film for Netflix, in addition to adaptations of Nemesis based on the comic by Mark Miller, The Monkey Wrench Gang, and then a family adventure comedy called Runaway. As far as Mega Man's current credits go, the film is being directed and written by duo Henry Joost and Ariel Rel Schulman, produced by Masai Oka, and is being co-written by the Batman's Matt Tomlin, who was brought back on in 2020. It says that aside from the movie seemingly still being in very early stages, the most interesting tidbit here is the fact that one of the writers of The Batman is penning the script for Mega Man. We don't know yet if The Batman's going to be good. We obviously can hope that it's going to be good. When it comes out, I'm going to watch it. I'm so far looking kind of excited for it. I'm feeling a little positive about it. It says, though, both trailers for The Batman paint a very dark and noir take on the Batman mythos, even darker than the Christopher Nolan films. I do think that this is interesting that he's the one that is working on this project. Obviously, I do not know this writer very well. I don't know what he's really been in the past. Chris Pratt for Mega Man. So, if he feels like this is a project he wants to take on and he can do successfully, okay, I'm gonna give him a chance, obviously. But what he's been working on lately is The Batman, which is a very dark, gruesome, kind of raw take on Batman. But it says if the rumor is true, the live-action Mega Man film sees the light of day, it will be another notch in the cap of Netflix in its current crusade for the best collection of video game adaptations. They have had some good adaptations. As it says, Castlevania. Castlevania was good. Dragon's Dogma. I didn't get into that. Resident Evil, we're gonna move past that. And then live action like The Witcher. The Witcher's been really good so far. I really like The Witcher. The next season comes out, next week? I'm looking forward to it. So yes, they don't have the complete worst track record. But if we're looking at other things they've done, they don't give a fuck. Most of the people at Netflix don't give a fuck about fans and what fans of things actually want. Just look at the Cowboy Bebop situation. They also have an Assassin's Creed series planned, which I personally am not that excited for. I like Assassin's Creed. Don't get me wrong. After that movie that came out in, 2017 or whatever? I mean, that was so bad that just, I don't know, that didn't sit right with me. It says, however, video game adaptations have a tendency to be hit or miss, so if Mega Man can prove itself to become a mainstream hit on the service, it will only mean great things for the franchise's success in the future. I obviously hope if this rumor is true and this comes out, it's great. I want things to come out and I want them to be amazing. I don't want things to be a flop just to say, screw Netflix, we all knew that they're terrible. I want content to come out and have it be good. Unfortunately, though, I can only give Netflix so much credit at this point because we don't know who the actors are going to be, who other writers are going to be, producers. We don't know a lot about this project if these rumors are true. And hearing about like a live action Mega Man to me doesn't sound that exciting. It just kind of sounds like I mean, right now I can only think of so many things they could do. I could only see a general kind of rough vision of what they'd go for, but maybe this writer and some of the people behind it have amazing ideas and have an amazing plan, but only time will tell. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited would you guys be for a live-action Mega Man movie by Netflix? I feel like that's also something that needs to be mentioned by Netflix. 1 being not excited at all, 10 being very excited, very hopeful. And then we'll move on to the next topic, which is going to be Nintendo. Oh, Nintendo. And One Piece, yep, One Piece as well. I, again, would like to say I'm excited, I'm hopeful. But, the studio behind One Piece is the studio that was behind Cowboy Bebop, so again, can only get so excited and give so much credit. 0, -45, 0, 0, -82. We've got a 7 in chat. Okay, a 7. That's pretty hopeful. Probably the highest score I'll see. 4 for a live action from Netflix. Yeah, I'd probably say right now I'm feeling at about a 3. I feel like that's generous as well. And that's me trying to think of things like The Witcher, Castlevania, trying to find something that I can give them credit for, trying really, really hard. But yeah, I guess only time will tell. If this is a rumor, so we don't know if it's true, but we do know that they did officially confirm one back in 2018, so maybe it is being made by Netflix now. Why no Tetris live action? Boy, that'd be amazing. That would be the highlight of my life. A 3? Yeah. Yeah. I'd give it like a 3. That's being generous. Live action and Netflix go as well together as toothpaste and orange juice. Hey, I'm sure there's some people out there who like that. So. Yeah. I'm glad the Sony VP was fired. I heard he was the main person pushing censorship. I'll have some thoughts, obviously, on that when we get to that topic, but the thing is that there's never just one person or a main person pushing something like censorship. And it wouldn't just be an executive vice producer. It'd be like a CEO, people running specific divisions, running specific companies, or what are they called? Subsidiaries, stuff like that. It's not just like one person. One person could have started the push. Doesn't mean he was the only one pushing for it. Tetris live action would be a spectacle disaster. Honestly, I'd watch it. At this point, what's the worst that they could do? Honestly. That sounds just... It sounds intriguing. What can I say? I would watch live action Tetris. See? Netflix, hit me up. I've got some ideas. The community, I've already got probably 66 people that would watch it. That's more people. Okay, I was gonna say, you know what? I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna say that's more people than the amount of people that liked Death Note, but we're not gonna go there. You know what? Positive ass Polly tonight, right, guys? Positivity. It's just, it's me. I am the definition of positivity. Nintendo. The next topic of the night. Great, wonderful, awesome. Lots to talk about with Nintendo. And, well, it sounds like it could be positive. Positive ass Polly. It also sounds like it could be more corporate bullshit. So, you know, of course, you can only give companies so much credit because at the end of the day, they are still companies. They do still make pretty shitty decisions. But this is a Bounty into Comics article. Nintendo commits to leveraging the talents of a diverse workforce, hiring more women to managerial positions. Now, when it comes to Nintendo, I like Nintendo. They definitely have never been a perfect company. No company is truly perfect. But I like my Nintendo Switch. I've liked their consoles over the years. I've liked a lot of the games they have and the exclusives they have. But every company now is focused on diversity, inclusivity, making their companies untouchable. So that if people want to try to cancel them, they can't find anything to cancel them over. Companies believe that diversifying their workforce is like a way to not get canceled. Unfortunately for them, it's not the truth. You can still get canceled no matter how much diversity you shove into your workforce. But I always say it, and this is my true stance on it. You might agree, you might disagree, whatever. You're allowed to have your own opinion. Diversity and inclusivity are good things. I will always say that. I will always stand by that. Having women in positions, men in positions, people of all different backgrounds from, you know, living in different places across the world. These are good things. But when companies hire people, like more women, just so they can simply say, look at us, we filled a diversity quota, and look at us, we're so diverse and inclusive, that is what is not good or not okay. People should be hired based on their skills and if they're qualified for a job, not because of the color of their skin or because of their gender. But it says, in a recent update posted to Nintendo's corporate guidelines, done in consideration of their position as a global company, the esteemed video game developer committed itself to both leveraging the talents of a diverse workforce and increasing the proportion of women in, managerial positions. Every company wants to have a global reach and be a global company. Unfortunately, we usually know that means they are focused on censorship and toning things down so that specific places in the world don't get mad at them, and we know how that shit goes. But it says, Nintendo assured investors, great, and employees of this commitment in a November 30th update to their corporate governance report, a regular statement which outlines the company's principles and general operating procedures aimed at addressing how the company was ensuring diversity in key personnel with the organization. Now, I don't know if you guys realize this, because I feel like a lot of people don't. We know why they're making this statement right now. They're making it because of all the Blizzard shit that's going on. They're not making these statements and updating these guidelines and assuring investors and employees of this commitment just because they feel like they have to. Nintendo has been very strategic about updating guidelines, the diversity and inclusivity statements. They're doing it because of everything that's Blizzard's facing right now. And of course, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, lol, Sony, these companies have come out and publicly shamed Blizzard for all the shit that's going on in Blizzard, and I 100% understand why, but they're clearly making statements like this, updating guidelines so that they look to investors and employees that they're not going to be another Blizzard, that they really take diversity seriously, that they really care about people of all genders at their company. Even though it's a statement more focused on women than men, but it is what it is. But clearly they're making this statement right now because of all the Blizzard stuff that's going on. It says, following a standard... Oh, I have to refresh because there's an ad over the text. Thanks, Bounding into Comics. Thanks, ad. Following a standard affirmation of their non-discrimination hiring policies, Nintendo explained that though the company does not have specific targets for the appointment of women, foreign nationals, and mid-careers to positions, they believed, as a global company engaging in the entertainment business, which is characterized by increasingly diversifying customer needs and preferences, it is essential that we leverage the talents of a diverse workforce. Therefore, we are committed to respecting the personality and strengths of each and every employee, including employees from our overseas subsidiaries, in developing an environment where employees of diverse backgrounds can maximize their potential. Now, this is interesting because we know how companies are. They say that they're focused on respecting people and their employees no matter what their background is, yet usually we see people get fired because of their political stances. We know how that goes, but we haven't heard a lot of complaints about Nintendo firing people because they have the wrong political stance that doesn't align with the company's stances. So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but again, when it comes to companies, we know how they are. You know, they virtue signal, they say we're doing all these great things and making so much progress when they only care about making money and looking like they care about their employees. Obviously, this is a good statement. You know, we are committed to respecting the personality and strengths of each and every employee. People should be respected at companies no matter what their background is. And again, there are tons of talented people out there that are male and female from all different places in the world with all different backgrounds. As long as people are qualified and it's not just about quotas, then I'm good with it. Things like diversity and inclusivity are good. People should be hired, though, based on their skills, their qualifications, and not because a company's going, hey, we need 50% females in manager roles because we need to look diverse and inclusive. If people are qualified and skilled at their job, they 100% should get the chance at that job, no matter what their gender is, their race is, whatever their background is. So, of course, we know how companies are. You know, I'd love to give them the benefit of the doubt because they've done better over the past few years, but at the same time, I'm only going to give them so much credit. We'll have to see where this goes, if anything changes, if we see any massive layoffs, if we see any people getting, any men getting replaced to bring in more women. We'll have to see, but that's all that I really have to discuss with Nintendo. If you guys have any thoughts on that, feel free to leave them in chat, and we'll move on to the next topic in just a minute. The next topic's going to be another relatively quick one, as it's just an update to a situation I've talked about a couple of times now. Keep in mind, guys, YouTube 100% will demonetize and suppress this stream. To me, it's not just about the demonetization, because, like, a stream being demonetized truly and genuinely to me doesn't matter. It's the fact that YouTube is suppressing content, right? If my videos or live streams were demonetized, that'd be one thing. But when they're not getting into people's subscription feeds because I'm using words YouTube doesn't like, that's my problem. So if you're enjoying the stream, give it a like, share it on social media, consider becoming a Dark Titan via YouTube memberships, Patreon, supporting via direct donations, but at least leave a like, say hi in chat, because it all does really help, because the stream is 100% going to be fucking smushed by YouTube with the Alec Baldwin and Sony vice president topics. 100%. 100%. I mean, even my other Alec Baldwin videos, they were not monetized. Never mind both the topics. That's a double whammy for YouTube. Don't bend the knee, Nintendo, please. Yeah, we're gonna have to see how far they go with these statements and what they do, things they change. A company saying, you know, we want more women in our company doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go and fire 50% of the men to bring in 50% more women, but it depends on how they handle the situation, what changes they make in the situation. But yeah. Did Alec Baldwin say which ghost pulled the trigger? He didn't, but I'm sure with the fucking dumb statements he's made, he'll probably admit it eventually. This fucking guy, though, holy shit. Holy shit. If he just didn't go on social media and didn't do a TV interview saying, I don't feel guilty for the fact that someone was killed on my movie set, people probably wouldn't be that mad at him right now. But why would you do that? Who thought that that was a good idea? I mean, even if, imagine someone, say you're an actor and someone on your movie set was killed and you were the lead actor. Like, even let's say if he didn't pull the trigger and it was someone else, even though we know basically the truth at this point. Let's say, like, one of his co-stars pulled the trigger on set and accidentally killed and injured the cinematographer and the director. You would, I know I, as a just human fucking being, would still feel guilty as shit. I'd still be like, maybe there was something I could do. You know what, maybe if we had all checked it to make sure it was safe, and maybe you know, this and that could have happened differently, I feel like most people would have still felt guilty even if they weren't the ones who did it. But this motherfucker went into a TV interview saying, I don't feel guilt for any of it. Why would I feel guilt? Oh my god. How dumb do you have to be? I know that he's apparently got this fancy schmancy old district attorney lawyer. Bro, I would fire him. I'd be done. Unless Alec Baldwin just literally wasn't listening to the guy. How could you not hear a lawyer say that, though, and go, yeah, I think I'm not going to take your advice? Unless it was literally just him not listening to lawyers. And just doing what he wants. I mean, he deserves all the criticism he's getting. All the criticism he's getting. Thank you, Oron, for the
donated $104.
No Ties to Speech. Thank you so much for the $104 donation. Thank you. Much appreciated. At first I felt bad for Alec. I did now. He needs a huge slap in the head and a reality check. I agree, because, I mean, at the beginning, I was viewing it more as it had to be an accident, and even if, you know, it wasn't his direct fault and he didn't know it was loaded, he still has to live with that for the rest of his life. And that right there is a reason to feel bad for someone. I mean, it's not like he, from what we had heard, meant to hurt someone. It's not like he knew it was loaded. But now he's just like digging himself into this hole, digging himself deeper and deeper and deeper, to the point where, how do you defend someone saying things like, I don't feel guilty that this happened on the set of my movie? How do you defend someone that is, you know, going on social media, doing interviews, and then deleting their Twitter account because they can't take the criticism for the words they themselves said? That's just, it's ridiculous. Yeah, you know, it was a tragic accident, but he just keeps saying this stupid shit that makes him look so much worse. Loaded or not, you don't point a weapon at someone, especially if it was a real gun. Yeah, I mean, correct, loaded or not, a prop gun or real gun, whatever the case may be, you should never point a gun at someone unless on the movie set, you know it's not real, it's not loaded. You only do it for the stunt itself. Even if they were on the set of the movie, right? He shouldn't have still been pointing it at the director or whoever pulled the trigger. Shouldn't have been pointing it at the director, the cinematographer. Like, you still need to treat it like a weapon and need to treat it like it's not a toy. Over the years, we've heard of so many tragic accidents happening on the sets of movies with things like prop guns. And accidents do happen, 100%, unfortunately. But you still need to treat it like it's a weapon and like you could hurt someone. Even if you don't have the mindset that you could kill someone, you could still hurt someone. I mean, even with a prop gun, you could shoot someone in the eye. That could be it. There goes their eye. Like, you have to treat things like an adult when it comes to something like a fucking gun, even if it's a prop gun. I mean, yikes. But alright, you guys, I'm gonna briefly read this. As you all know, I've talked about it in a couple videos. I talked about the initial situation, and I've also talked about his TV interview where he said that he wasn't the one who pulled the trigger on the set of Rust, but the Santa Fe District Attorney has said that Alec Baldwin could still face criminal charges over the shooting on the set of Rust, and the actor promptly deleted his Twitter account. This is the worst case scenario, is when you go on a fucking TV interview, you say shit like, I don't feel guilty, and I don't know who pulled the trigger, but I didn't. I'm not responsible. And then you go and delete your Twitter account. That just, it's like awful, way to look. It's just such a way to look awful. It's one awful thing after another awful thing. It says Alec Baldwin has deleted his Twitter accounts after Santa Fe District Attorney stated that the actor may still be criminally charged for killing the director of photography, Helena Hutchins, cinematographer, and injuring the director Joel Souza on the set of Rust. Everyone involved in the handling and use of firearms on set had a duty to behave in a manner such that the safety of others was protected, and it appears that certain actions and inactions contributed to this outcome. I 100% agree with this. Whether you like guns and you support guns or you don't support guns, I think at the end of the day, everyone can accept the fact that it's a movie set. And so no one really thinks that someone could die on set with a prop gun. But even so, people should be handling them with care and following safety measures as if it was a real weapon. I do not care if it is a fake gun or not. People should still be treating it as an item that could potentially hurt someone. And if that happened more on set and people actually cared and were being very safe on set, maybe the situation could have been avoided. You had inexperienced armorers on set, which is a giant fucking problem. And legally, the armorer is at fault for the situation, and I do think that they should face some serious consequences for that. But even as an actor, you know, actors aren't held to the same standards as an armorer because actors are basically handed the gun. They're told it's a cold gun, it's not loaded, they checked it for safety precautions, and that's that. But at the same time, actors should, you know, treat things with the utmost respect and importance and still treat it as, hey, I still have to point this at someone. And prop guns are known, unfortunately, for hurting people, and in this situation, killing someone. People need to take safety seriously on the set of movies, and unfortunately, there are a lot of people every year that get injured and even killed on sets of movies. Stunt doubles, people who are doing stunts and using prop weapons. Even look at the Brandon Lee situation. I know that I've talked about that before. You'd think that the industry would be different now, and that there would be people on sets that were super experienced that actually fucking cared about safety, but that's not the case. A lot of people still do not really care about safety because they just view it as, yeah, just don't point it at someone's head. Like, they'll be fine otherwise. But situations like this can happen where people can get killed, and it's such a sad and fucking tragic situation just because people aren't treating things like a real weapon. Even if it's not a real weapon, they still should be. They should still be following safety measures, and we don't see that. We didn't see that happen in this case, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, even look at Batwoman. I know Ruby Rose ended up, I don't remember what it was. She hurt her spine, and she fucked her neck up, and oh my god, it's terrible. And even if I don't like her acting performances, even situations like that do unfortunately happen. Actors, stunt doubles, everyone knows what they sign up for. Unfortunately, people hope that situations like that don't happen, but they can happen. But it's what happens after that does really matter. And, you know, in the case of Batwoman, I mean, she faced a lot of fucking troubles. Even after that terrible accident happened, she was told she had to go back on the set of the movie, and if she didn't, millions of dollars would be lost and people would be fired. I mean, that's the fucking worst case of it. After that terrible situation happened, she should have been given weeks, months off to recover, but instead the fucking directors and producers told her, get the hell back on the movie set or on the show set, or else people are going to be fired and we're going to be out millions of dollars. How fucking disgusting of a person do you have to be to say that to an actor's face? Like, holy shit, someone just could have lost their lives and that's what you care about is money. I get it, you know, this is a big production and yeah, you're gonna lose money and it's gonna be delayed by weeks and weeks, but holy shit, treat people with some general fucking respect. Someone just got hurt and could have lost their lives, especially on the set of something like Rust. Someone lost their life and someone else got massively injured. Someone else could have lost their lives. So chill out. Show guilt. Show that you feel terrible, even if it wasn't you who pulled the trigger, even if it wasn't you who caused the situation. Actually care about human beings. Oh my god. People are disgusting. It says the Santa Fe DA explained that certain individuals may be criminally culpable for his or her actions and or inactions on the set of Rust, adding that she intends to exercise my prosecutorial discretion to its fullest, including filing charges that are supposed to be probable cause, as her office juggles various legal theories at the time. We know that Alec Baldwin is facing multiple lawsuits, the armorer on the set of Rust is facing multiple lawsuits, and the worst fucking part about this is that, of course, no one wants to take accountability because no one wants to be deemed a murderer. No matter who you are in this situation, if you're Alec Baldwin, your career's over. If you're the armorer, your career's over. If you're an assistant armorer, your career's over. But, of course, they could be facing legal consequences. If they went in an interview and said, I'm the one who did it, they could face multiple lawsuits, lose those lawsuits, and potentially face criminal charges and jail time. Their careers are over, and no one wants to take fucking responsibility. And it's terrible because Helena Hutchins lost her life, and no one can have the common decency to say, it was me, I did it, or I, added to the situation, I didn't help prevent the situation, I didn't do my job. And I get why, because again, no one wants their lives to be basically over, but oh, it's terrible. It's so just, it's terrible. It's heartbreaking. I mean, I didn't know this person, I don't know the director, I don't know anyone involved in this situation, but as a normal human being, I still feel terrible about it, because I'm someone who consumes entertainment and watches shows and movies, and people are hurt on sets of films all the time. And unfortunately, usually they don't get that much social media attention. It's only situations like this where they get attention. It says that I have not made a decision to charge or not charge any individuals involved in the shooting that resulted in the death of Helena and the injury of Joel. It says their comments come right after Alec Baldwin sat down with ABC News' George Stephanopoulos and opened up about the tragic incident on the set of Rust. This was a fucking terrible interview as well, because he went into it saying he's not guilty, he feels no remorse, he wasn't the one that pulled the trigger, but it's the way that they paint Alec Baldwin in the situation. It's not someone lost their life and someone else was injured. Someone else could have lost their life. No, it's about Alec Baldwin isn't the bad guy here. Alec Baldwin is the victim here, and that is absolutely disgusting. If you watch the interview, very few times do they mention the person who lost their life, you know, her family, what they're going through. No, it's about fucking Alec Baldwin, who's probably not going to face any charges over this situation. But that's all that I really had to discuss with this absolutely disgusting situation. At first, you know, I kind of viewed it as, this must suck for Alec Baldwin, because even if he didn't mean to pull the trigger, even if he was told everything was fine, it wasn't loaded, it was safe, he was still the one who, unfortunately, did pull the trigger. And he's going to have to live with that for the rest of his life, and his career is probably over. But when you go into interviews saying you don't feel guilty or remorse, or you don't care, basically, I have no care in the world for how you feel or what you're going through. But that's all that I had to discuss with that. What the fuck? I mean, holy mother of pearl. How could you do that? It's so gross. It's just so terrible. Just, yikes. Ugh. It's a terrible accident that happened that, of course, again, no one's taking responsibility for, because no one wants their life and career to be basically over. This is all damage control. It is, but it's causing more damage than it's controlling the damage. Just fucking yikes. Next we're gonna move into the Senior VP of PlayStation situation. This also is going to be a pretty heated topic. So, Yeah. Great. Wonderful. Lots of heated topics tonight. I can't get over that PlayStation 5 shirt. Yeah, listen, chat. I have a PlayStation beanie around here somewhere. Never gonna look at that the same again. I mean... Alec Baldwin's an asshole. He should have used proper gun safety, 100%. Again, like I said at the beginning of the topic, even if he, you know, was told it wasn't loaded and it was safe to use, you still should be treating something, even a prop gun, like a real gun, and like it could seriously injure and potentially kill someone. That's the way that I view it. Even if it's a fake gun, you still should be using general gun safety. No matter who you are, if you're on the set of a movie, if you're in the middle of the woods, it doesn't matter. You should always be considering simple gun safety. And that's not even, that's just for anyone. That's for anyone. The armorers should have been following gun safety, actors. If you're just someone who owns a hunting rifle in the middle of the woods, just use your fucking brain. Follow simple safety. I mean, damn. We're going to talk about this next situation in a minute. I'd like to preface this situation with saying, obviously, if these allegations are true, they're absolutely terrible, and it's a disgusting situation. But I'm going to show off some of the logs, some of the information we have. But take everything that you see on the internet with a grain of salt, right? Because I'm going to show, like, a LinkedIn page. Like, George's LinkedIn page is gone. Take everything with a grain of salt, because we never truly know the full context with something like a LinkedIn being gone. While, yes, it can point towards guilt, and an admission of guilt, it might not be that simple. I definitely have a lot of thoughts on this, though. Fucking disgusting. Again. Yikes. Who's worse? Senior Vice President of PlayStation or Alec Baldwin? Who's worse? I don't know. My thing is that Alec Baldwin murdered someone. There's no redemption for either, but, I mean, he killed someone. That's... Yikes. I mean, all of it's yikes. We're not comparing scumbag versus scumbag here, but... Yikes. I'm also going to be referencing this PlayStation article, this Kotaku article, for one specific reason, primarily the Sony statement that's been going around, because there's only reportedly one. There's only reportedly one. So. They're both worse for different reasons. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Christopher. Alec Baldwin jokes. They're so yikes, but at the same time, I mean, so many people are making them. Diddlers are killers. Yeah. It's gonna be a yikes from me no matter what the fucking situation is. Alright, guys. So, this topic, I'm not gonna talk about for too long. But I did want to briefly talk about. Now, over the past couple days, there has been so many rumors and accusations flooding the internet about the senior vice president of PlayStation, Mr. George over here. Now, I'm going to be starting with referencing a thread put on Twitter by Tipster, because this is where I first saw the situation. This is the first piece of information I saw about it, and I feel like a lot of the information that we currently know is pretty well laid out in this thread. Shout out to Tipster. He does stop by sometimes. But this situation, again, like the Alec Baldwin situation we just talked about, is fucking disgusting if it's true. And over the past few days, we have heard that the senior vice president of PlayStation was caught by an independent pedophile hunting group known as People vs. Preds for allegedly trying to meet with a 15-year-old boy for sex. Sony, may I add, PlayStation, that's, like 2 weeks ago, they were disavowing Activision Blizzard for gender discrimination lawsuits they're facing and not treating women properly and treating women like garbage and like not paying women fairly. The company that was just shitting on Blizzard weeks ago for being a scummy company doesn't look very good for you right now, Sony. Just saying. Just pointing out the obvious here. So, it says, according to their LinkedIn profile, he is currently the Senior Vice President of Engineering with Sony Interactive Entertainment's PSN division and has been with the company since 2013. Now, this is his LinkedIn as of December 4th, and it's December 7th now. And it says, of course, he started working there in 2013, present 8 years, 4 months. But there's a little bit of an update to that in a minute. So, it says, here's the video of the bust that occurred during the evening of December 3rd, 2021. Basically, this group called People vs. Preds on YouTube went to his house and were over months talking to him online on dating apps as a 15-year-old boy, and showed up to his house and supposedly, as we can see, he came out, was talking to them, and then went back in his house and closed the door. I'm not going to play the video. I will link this Twitter thread in chat in case anyone wants to see it. But there are a lot of chat logs that were released by People vs. Preds and the conversation between them and this individual. But going to the Kotaku article, it says PlayStation executive reportedly fired after the allegation video was posted online. Now, I'm not going to show really like the conversation chat logs because, of course, we know that they're fucking disgusting. I'm finally 15. I think we talked before. Allegedly, they had talked in October when he was supposed to be 14. And then they talked again when he was 15 this month. And supposedly George had said, are you really 15? And then asked multiple times, how old are you? And then People vs. Predators were saying, I just turned 15 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry. They were sharing. Supposedly, George was sending sexual pictures. I'm not going to show any more of the chat logs. But talking about what they'd like to do. Disgusting. But the Kotaku article says George was a senior vice president at Sony Interactive Entertainment who had worked in engineering and on the PlayStation Store since 2013. He has now been terminated from his position after he reportedly appeared over the weekend in a sting operation video. It says People vs. Preds, a vigilante group who attempted to catch and then make public men allegedly engage in pedophilia, posted this video over the weekend, and they claimed they had impersonated a 15-year-old boy and had made contact with him online, who had then invited them to his home for, of course, sexual interactions. It says People vs. Preds claim that they had conversations with the man they allege is him, Jeff, who, was using the alias Jeff, on a dating site called Grindr, and after discussions agreed to meet up at his home. The video above begins with a member of the group approaching his home and greeting a man by the name of Jeff, who opens the door wearing a PlayStation 5 t-shirt before having the door closed in their faces after revealing the purpose for their filming. I mean, that's the meme of 2021 probably, right? The fact that they showed up to his house He's wearing a PlayStation 5 t-shirt. Guys, we're gonna see PlayStation 5 t-shirts heavily discounted online over the next few months. It says, though, that while the video on its own shows no crimes being committed and they cannot confirm George's identity, People vs. Preds also posted a number of screenshots they say detail the arrangements of the encounter, which include an alleged selfie of him wearing the same shirt that Jeff is wearing in the video. And it says, CNET now reports that the senior vice president has been fired, with a Sony representative saying in a statement, "We are aware of the situation and the employee in question has been terminated from employment." Now, this is very odd because CNET, right? CNET is claiming, this is my problem. CNET is claiming that they contacted Sony and Sony responded to them saying that we're aware of the situation and the employee in question has been terminated from employment. Where's his name, first of all? They're just saying the employee in question has been terminated from employment, which is not specific at all. But every news outlet is referencing this one statement that CNET reportedly got. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that CNET is lying. I'm not saying that this statement that they supposedly got from Sony is false. But CNET does have a kind of iffy track record. And even Kotaku couldn't get a response from Sony. IGNs couldn't get responses from Sony. Apparently, no one has gotten any responses and emails from Sony besides CNET. I feel a little iffy about that just because I would expect someone like a Kotaku to get an email response. But of course, Sony probably, of course, doesn't want the situation blowing up 100%. Sony wants this situation to die quietly. Sony doesn't want people talking about an executive vice president facing pedophilia allegations. No fucking company wants to face that. But People vs. Preds is saying they were talking with him over a couple of months, once in October, now in December. They showed up to his house and they caught him, you know, and he was supposedly trying to sleep with this 15-year-old. Now, this is part of the problem with these groups. They can't bring anyone to justice. Yes, they have exposed this fucking dirtbag, and credit where credit is due. 100%. But there's reasons why law enforcement don't want to work with these types of people. The way they do things isn't good. That is my number one problem here. They don't collect evidence correctly. They don't document evidence correctly. They're not doing this to bring these dirtbags down. They're doing it for clout and fame to make a buck out of it, and law enforcement knows that. It's rough because, again, 100% these dirtbags deserve to get fucking exposed. But if groups like this wanted to get justice for people, they do it in a very different way. So if you collected all this information, you collected the chat logs, before you show up to his house, you'd think they would have given the evidence to the police. But of course, the police would say, you probably shouldn't go to his house and harass him. So it's like they do everything they want to do first, and then they give the evidence to the police, which instantly tampers with the whole situation. And it makes police not want to work with these groups. And they even said, you know, police don't want to work with us. That's my number one problem reporting on situations like this, like with the EDP situation. Yes, again, these disgusting people deserve to get called out 100%. But the way that these situations are handled aren't great. They're not like real investigations. Unfortunately, people online don't always have the best intentions, and people want clout, people want fame, people want to make a buck off of the internet, and people want to be the next Chris Hansen. They want to be the next to How to Catch a Predator. I just wish in this situation Sony would come out and say, he broke our code of conduct and broke the law and we fired him. He's gone, but it's like they want it buried, so they're not making any statements about it, which makes it so much harder to report on. But going back to Tipster's tweet, He does post all the links here. It's a great thread. If you guys want to check it out, I will post it in chat again. 100%. I saw Tipster stop him. But the thread itself is solid. I mean, any evidence that right now exists is here. So I'm going to be following this. But, whether these allegations are true or not, George has decided to remove any social media that has any ties with Sony on it, which of course just comes off that much more fucking suspicious. So this was his LinkedIn page, and now it says an exact match for George, and then the link could not be found, because I had this tab up for a couple of days because I've been following the situation, and now his LinkedIn, where it said he worked for Sony, it showed his history, is suddenly gone. It's suddenly not here anymore. So it just makes it look like an admission of guilt. It makes it look like another, okay, well, if you're innocent, then why is all your social media suddenly gone? Any Twitters, Facebooks, LinkedIns he had are now suddenly offline and are suddenly down. But the article finishes off saying, meanwhile, a representative from People vs. Preds tell Kotaku that the reason this information was released publicly, then handed directly to authorities, was that the police department doesn't work with cyber groups like us. That's where the internet takes over. However, they also say that evidence has been turned into the authorities. So they say police won't work with us and won't take our evidence, yet they are saying evidence has been turned into the authorities. Either way, an absolutely fucking disgusting situation. Even if these are just allegations, right? And everything does look pretty damning at this point. Of course, Sony doesn't want people talking about it. And it's so fucking gross, right? Because outlets like IGN's were talking about how, oh, we don't report on general crime. Yet they've literally reported on simply, like, Scott Cawthon's from Five Nights at Freddy's, his political donations. Like, what the fuck? You will write multiple articles about someone's political donations and the politicians they support, yet you're not gonna report on the senior vice president of Sony being allegedly caught in a sting operation? That's why I don't like game journalists. There are still a couple good game journalists out there. I'm not saying that they're all terrible, but fucking yikes. You literally will write multiple articles on people's political donations and who they support and who they voted for, yet you're not going to talk about a situation as giant as this? How do you think that that's gonna look for you? Why do you think that's gonna, like, look okay for you? Tipster had put up a tweet about it saying, oh, that's a screenshot of the initial tweet that he put out, and then Dan Stapleton saying, right, but Sony had nothing to do with his actions as far as I can see, and he's not a name anyone recognizes, so it's not really news. IGN covers a lot of things that aren't game related, but general crime isn't one of them. Literally, they put up an article on it, of course, which they should. Another article. Former Bungie composer charged with contempt of court over use of Destiny music. No one knows who that guy is. Oh, Tiger King's Doc Antle charged with wildlife trafficking. I'd call that crime. YouTuber appeared in court charged with promoting gambling. I mean, you can't fucking make this shit up. Reason number 5,768 of why you shouldn't like game journalists. Yikes. But that's all that I really had to discuss with that topic. These accusations, as you guys know, like I said, they're surprising. But if true, fucking disgusting. I will definitely be keeping up this situation. I will be following along with it. If there are any updates, I will make tweets about them, talk about them in other discussion streams. But yeah, that is the current situation with Sony. Great job, Sony. You really know how to pick them. Sony, the company that 2 weeks ago was saying how terrible and awful Blizzard was for gender discrimination and not paying their females enough, yet situation like this comes out 2 weeks later. So yeah, But that's all that I really had to discuss with that situation, guys. If his LinkedIn goes back up, I'll make a tweet about it, but his LinkedIn currently is nowhere to be found. So, next we'll move into the final topic of the evening. But if you guys have any commentary on that situation, feel free to leave it in chat. Yeah, Scott Cawthon's political stances have nothing to do with his game. And if game journalists took one stance and stuck with it, okay. If they said we don't cover general crime and we don't talk about anything that's not directly related to a game, okay, fucking respect, right? But they say that now, yet they'll cover things like people's political donations which have nothing to do with their games. Like, make up your mind. If you're gonna talk about everything, talk about everything. Say it with your chest. But if you're not gonna talk about everything, don't cherry pick. Well, we're gonna talk about this today, but, you know, in 2 weeks when this awful situation happens, no, we're gonna protect the company and bury it because we don't want to get on their bad side. Like, yikes. It makes me lose any more respect that I had for these people. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't have that much respect for game journalists. You guys already know that. I do not like game journalists for a reason, but you'd think that that'd be something that they'd report on right away if they could get a statement. And they did eventually report on it after telling Tipster on fucking social media, on Twitter, we're not gonna report on it because we don't report on general crime. Go screw yourselves. Sure you don't. There are like 6 to 10 different examples of them literally doing just that. I mean, how terrible can you be? I didn't see a gingerbread Mountain Dew. I couldn't get my hands on one today. So, guys, maybe, hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on a gingerbread Mountain Dew soon. I couldn't get my hands on one today, though. I just saw a comment in chat. Trent, I'm not gonna reread it, but wow. You guys, listen. This isn't the Xbox 360 days anymore, right? Don't get me wrong. I like the Xbox 360 days. You know, those Xbox Live days, you'd be a Modern Warfare 2 and 3. Everyone would be salting each other. People are sensitive snowflakes now. But some of you guys are still living in the Xbox 360 days. I support Scott Cawthon's right to choose, as everyone should, unless it's actually illegal activities. Very true. Gingerbread Mountain Dew sounds like a crime against humanity. The other day, someone had dared me to get one and try it on stream, but I couldn't find one. I couldn't get one. I will get one, though, and I will try it on stream. Just like I'm looking for pumpkin spice ramen. Fucking disgusting. Not probably gonna try that one on stream, because I don't eat on stream. Gingerbread Mountain Dew sounds cursed 100%. It sounds like I'm gonna drink it and I'm gonna, I don't know. I'm gonna die. Just gonna keep it a stack, but I was dared by many to try it, so maybe one day. We're gamers. We use gamer language. Your reaction to my comment is gonna... It's not funny. Listen. I should time you out for 300 seconds now before I get canceled for even reading it. Pumpkin spice ramen? That's what I was told! I googled it. Pumpkin spice ramen. Like, imagine ramen that tastes like pumpkin pie. That does not sound good, but honestly, I'm intrigued enough to spend $1 on it. Guys, apparently, oh no, we can't talk about food. I was gonna tell you that apparently some store in the Midwest has thrashed apple Mountain Dew. Why the fuck don't I have a store that sells thrashed apple Mountain Dew? That sounds like the best Mountain Dew I've ever heard of. Vera must have cussed a lot on Xbox Com too. I was like 12. I would never. I'm a good child. I was a great child. Can't you guys tell? I've turned out to be an amazing person. I'm an SJW undercover, don't forget. The good old 360 days. Yeah. What is dead may never die. That's sad. We'll never have those days again. Wow, life really is shit. Huh. Life is really bad, huh? I mean, we end up with fucking Santa Inc., gingerbread, goddamn Mountain Dew, and pumpkin spice ramen. I mean, what did you expect to ever hear that? A show about defeating the all-white, all-male patriarchy of Christmas while you're sipping a gingerbread Mountain Dew while eating pumpkin spice ramen. That is fucking cursed. We are in the most cursed timeline that exists. Truly. Like, I do not know how more cursed it can actually physically get. Like, this is not good. Like, yikes. Thrashed apple sounds like a fucking awesome drink. See? A 12 pack on Amazon's like $25. I don't... What do I look like? I'm made of Teslas? Like, everything I touch turns to gold? I don't have that kind of money. That shit's expensive. A normal 12 pack's like $6. Almost $30? And yet, it's like loot boxes for your stomach. It's the worst. It's like, yeah, you can get this awesome, cool, limited edition, special, ultra item, Thrashed Apple Mountain Dew, but it's $30. Who did this? Who did this? I don't know who came up with that idea. You deserve to get fired. One time I'll support cancel culture. When are they putting out a pumpkin spice Mountain Dew? That is something I can get behind, I think. That sounds like it could be pretty good. Not gonna lie. Yeah, pumpkin spice mountain, pumpkin spice ramen. Ugh. Pumpkin spice cup noodles. And the worst part is it's still got the vegetables in it. That sounds terrible. Like, and it's, oh god, in the page for it says, Cup Noodles jumps on the pumpkin spice crazy train with a special pumpkin spice seasoning that's the perfect blend of sweet, savory, and spice. For the full pumpkin spice experience, top it with whipped cream, but it's got the vegetables in it still? No. That's a no from me. That sounds awful. Anyway, guys, we're moving into the last topic of the night. Really quickly, if you're enjoying the live stream, give it a like. If you're not, give it a dislike. Consider donating via Streamlabs. All donations pop up. Consider becoming a member via YouTube memberships. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to do a supporter stream last week, and because tomorrow Halo Infinite launches, I will be doing the next supporter stream next Wednesday. So being a YouTube member, supporter via Patreon, donator gets you access. But we're gonna move into the final topic of the night, guys. Santa Inc. Now, I've talked about Santa Inc. in 2 other videos, and I'm truly and genuinely disappointed that they took something as wholesome as Christmas and fucking twisted it around. And they made a show about Christmas in Santa's all-white male patriarchy of Christmas. This is a Bounding Into Comics article. It says, by every available metric, Santa Inc. seems destined to go down in history as the Hindenburg of far-left pseudo-comedy. The new HBO Max series has been thoroughly excoriated. I was like, what? On Rotten Tomatoes, with just 3% of viewers finding it favorable. It actually went up to 4. It went up by 1% from 3 to 4. It says, to date, not a single professional critic has touched it with a 10-foot pole, which means Santa Inc. is more radioactive than the elephant's foot in the basement of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Actors Seth Rogen and Sarah Silverman have responded exactly as expected, almost on cue, and that's entirely the point. So, it says audiences knew that Santa Inc. was going to be a disaster from the moment the first trailer dropped, netting an eye-watering and unfathomable 100K dislikes in record time. Coincidentally, this is before the higher-ups at the company managed to hide the dislike counter to protect the image of Joe Biden's official White House page, and a number of woke leftist properties. Next, they hid the comments for the trailer, which has activated the Streisand effect. Right now, the dislikes are sitting at 160,000 the last time I checked, to 3,000 upvotes, which is fucking terrible. But it says, for the uninitiated, Santa Inc. has essentially the story of a female elf who wants to become the next Santa Claus, and the show routinely laments the fact that Santa himself is a white male. I've said it in my other videos, but I do think the idea of having an elf, a female elf who wants to be the next Santa Claus, isn't bad. I think that they could have ran with that for a comedy series. Maybe at the end she becomes Santa's helper or Santa's right-hand elf and actually helps something. Maybe it's like a Rick and Morty adult humorous series, but the fact that they're running on with Santa's white and male and it's the patriarchy in the North Pole is pretty dumb. It says historically Santa Claus being white makes sense, of course, but it says the meltdown began on Seth Rogen's official Twitter page, where he attacked the show's haters and labeled them white supremacists. The standard tactic the left use whenever someone disagrees with them. We argue that this is not, in fact, a knee-jerk reaction, but the intended purpose for the show. It seems like they made the show to upset people and to trigger people, and Seth Rogen even tweeted out, "We really pissed off tens of thousands of white supremacists with our new show, Santa Inc., which is now available on HBO Max." I didn't like the show because the plot, the characters, the actors behind it, overall it seemed like a really garbage show. It's as simple as that. I didn't hate it because it was a white supremacist. I hated it because I thought that everything about it seemed fucking terrible. How is it that hard to understand? And of course, Seth Rogen has gone silent on social media. He has not tweeted anything since this. On December 2nd, he's been missing for 5 days now, and Sarah Silverman has retweeted a couple of things, but besides that, she has also been silent on social media. When you go online and you call people white supremacists simply for not liking your garbage piece of media, of course you're going to get ratioed over it. Of course people are going to be upset with you. Of course you're going to get attacked over it. It says only a few episodes in, and it is abundantly clear that the team behind Santa Inc. is not particularly fond of Christmas, and it shows. It says, the inevitable blowback to Santa Inc. feels like it was anticipated by Seth Rogen from the word go. The meltdown felt pre-scripted, almost as if Rogen knew it was going to come. And they probably knew that it was going to face backlash. They probably knew going into it that people were not going to like it. That's why they double, triple, quadrupled down, going online, calling people white supremacists if you don't like the show. People don't like the show because it's fucking trash. It's literally as simple as that. It says, in fact, the unwillingness of critics to score a single episode as per the date of this article is probably the only thing that Rogen really didn't see coming. Now, I do want to show you guys the reviews quickly, because as it says on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at a 4% with 1,000, right over 1,000 user ratings. But if we go to the score details, and we go to the top critics, there are actually two critics that have rated it. One gave it a fresh and one gave it a rotten. But besides that, no critics have really touched it. If you go to Google and you type in Santa Inc. reviews, some individual sources have reviewed it, but they haven't put up their reviews anywhere, which seems really odd and suspicious. It just kind of seems bizarre, because you would think, it's been out a week now, they would review it, put their score up, and kind of be done. They've never really shied away from backlash, but I think they saw just how intense the backlash was right from the get-go, and they kind of decided, you know what, we're not gonna leave reviews here for people to attack. But if we go to the audience scores, of course, like it said, it's at a 4%, so you're not gonna see many 5 stars, and you'd think if people really like this, they'd be giving it tons of 5 stars, and they'd be trying to reverse review bomb it, but that's not happening at all, of course. Someone said, rotten is being nice. The graphics are just so awful, you almost have to look away, and when you do, the script is equally awful, with dialogue that doesn't even sound close to what real imaginary people would say, and plot development that wouldn't pass first semester theater class in middle school. People are just saying it's not for adults because it's too childish and sophomoric, but of course if you showed it to a kid, it's just too inappropriate, and it's not something that kids should watch. Last reviews were left 4 hours ago also. Seems a little suspicious. It says, having seen that people were reviewing this badly, I thought I'd watch it and hope that it wasn't as bad as people said. I can confirm it is very bad, and I've watched all 8 episodes. I can't work out what it is. It's not a Christmas movie or series. It's not enjoyable. It's not memorable. It's boring and bland. The jokes are poorly written, and the plot feels like it was written by a committee who'd had humor described to them through cups on strings. I mean, the problem here is that they weren't trying to be funny with it. They were trying to make statements to get people riled up and upset on social media. If they went into it and were trying to be funny and they actually wrote good jokes, I think that people wouldn't be as upset with it. But it's just a disaster. It's not funny. It's not humorous. It's not, you know, heartwarming or cutesy. It's nothing. It's just fucking boring, and the jokes are bad. I mean, who thought that this was gonna be a good idea? It said the animation was pretty good and solid. Too bad it is absolutely ruined by horrible scripting. The jokes are not funny at all. I couldn't even watch beyond episode 1, and normally, even when it sucks, I try to watch a couple of episodes. Yeah, I don't know who thought people were gonna like this, who thought that this was gonna go across well. Again, if we had an adult show that made fun of Christmas a little bit, I think that it would go over well. Taking jabs at something like Christmas is okay. People usually don't hate that type of stuff. Like, look at all the Christmas episodes of South Park where they make jokes about Santa and Christmas. But when you're making a whole show just to shit on Christmas and the people who like Christmas, that's not going to come across very well. Heart full of coal to the core. I thought at least the stop motion animation could be enjoyable, but this is just mean, vile, putrid, and pathetic display of edgelord comedy. If you think swearing equals automatically funny, rawful, oh my god, XD so relatable, we need a raw in there. Maybe you'll get you know, maybe you'll find some kind of enjoyment in it. But as it goes on to say, it's not good storytelling. It doesn't look good visually. The actors in it aren't great overall. It's just a disaster. So it is what it is at this point. You know, I wasn't excited for Santa Inc. at any point. They only announced it like 2 weeks before they released it. So there wasn't really a lot of time for people to kind of let it simmer and see if maybe people would like it as time went on. But they probably did that for a reason, because of course they want it to release at the beginning of December so people could watch it throughout the month, since movies that are based around like Christmas are very, you know, limited in time. People are only going to watch them really in November and December. But I think they also knew they were going to face a lot of backlash. Overall, just fucking terrible. If you guys are looking for a good Christmas movie, though, that's newer, it's Netflix. Klaus, that came out like 2 years ago. That actually wasn't bad, because that was like one of those shows or movies that was like actually supposed to be not just for children, but also have that kind of Christmas magic to it. And that's the thing, is there were like a couple jokes in there that clearly only adults would get, but it didn't make fun of Christmas. And I think that that's what people look for in Christmas shows, is it to respect Christmas and be lighthearted and fun and be something you'd watch with your family, not raunchy, terrible, fuck Christmas humor. Again, I think sometimes South Park's and a Rick and Morty type show could work, where it does take jabs at Christmas, but overall maybe it has a nicer Christmas message. But now, well, we see what Santa Inc. is, and it's a actual fucking disaster. So guys, that's all that I really had to discuss tonight. We talked about Santa Inc., PlayStation Executive, we talked about Alec Baldwin, Nintendo, and the live-action Mega Man movie that is rumored. I'm going to be hanging out for a couple more minutes, so if you guys have any questions or topics you'd like me to discuss, please feel free to leave them in chat. I'd be happy to answer any questions or topics you guys have for me. But I'm going to hang out for a couple more minutes. Quickly, though, if you're enjoying the live stream, I need 9 of you to like the stream. We are at 91 likes, so give it a like. If you're not, give it a dislike. Consider donating via Streamlabs. All donos pop up. $3 or more text-to-speech activates. Consider becoming a member of the channel via YouTube memberships. All the links are in the description. And thank you for being here. Do you use the new Chrome extension to see dislikes? Yes, I do. I know that they're changing the API, so it's not going to work for very long. So honestly, there's not really much of a point to download it. Because it's not going to work soon anyway. But I have it downloaded for now just to kind of see the Santa Inc. backlash. Die Hard, favorite Christmas movie. I've had Christmas songs stuck in my head. And not like Macy's level. I'm talking like 1973, The Year Without a Santa Claus, like Heat Miser and Snow Miser, and like actual good fucking Christmas movies, and like the made-for-TV How the Grinch Stole Christmas animation. Like those Christmas movies are stuck in my head. Muppets? Oh, no. No for me. Muppets are not my thing. That's gonna be a no. Halo Infinite tomorrow. Who's hyped? I know I am. Tomorrow evening, guys, at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be here live streaming Halo Infinite. I will be starting the campaign on stream. We'll be going for a couple hours. I'm really, really excited. I hope that it's really good. I hope it's really fun. So I will be streaming it tomorrow. And, yeah. Hopefully it's not going to be terrible. We'll see, though. Where the hell are you listening to these songs that they're stuck in your head? I haven't listened to them at all. I haven't watched those movies in maybe like 3 or 4 years. I literally just was like thinking about Christmas the other day, and I just, they flooded my brain, and I've watched those movies so many times. I can see them in my head as we speak. Like I could watch the whole movie. I don't even need to download it off the internet to rewatch it. And it's just the songs are stuck in my head. I could recite all the songs in all of those dumb movies. I don't want to say I don't like Christmas movies, but I feel like Christmas movies most of the time are kind of overrated. I'd much rather Halloween. You guys know. What exactly is Halo releasing? So tonight at midnight, Halo Infinite's campaign comes out. But I'll be streaming it tomorrow. The classic 70s cartoon one? Yeah. The 70s and 80s Christmas movies are the best, hands down. Yeah, Heat Miser, that's an awesome song. He's Mr. 101. Guys, I can't think about like the it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas songs, because then it's just like a Macy's in my brain, and I'm not about that. The Christmas spirit is haunting Vera. I want Halloween. I would pick 1,000 Halloweens over one Christmas. I'm just keeping it a stack. I'm just being honest, guys. Halloween's much better. Christmas isn't bad. Halloween's just better. Also, thank you guys for the likes. Much appreciated. We hit 100 likes. Vera is sailing the high seas in her own head. Yeah. And then suddenly the Pirates of the Caribbean song is stuck in my head. And I'm thinking of Captain Jack Sparrow. Always. It's not midnight release. I thought it was. Halo Infinite release time? I could have swore that it was. Or is it an afternoon? Okay, it's 1 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, so it's not a midnight release. It's 1 p.m. tomorrow, guys. But I'll be streaming it at 8 p.m. Eastern here on the channel. So make sure to stop by. I'm not going to start my own playthrough beforehand, so it'll be a fully new experience. I haven't watched any gameplay on it or anything. I have no clue how long it is. We'll see as time goes on. We'll make Vera love Christmas. Her heart will grow 3 sizes this year. That's gonna be a no from me. Sounds like I'd die. I have Christmas lights that I was thinking about putting on the bookshelf like, little bulb Christmas lights. But then, like, I realized, like, I've got so many LEDs in this fucking room. Like, my keyboard, the lights all around, ring lights. I've got enough lights. But it could feel Christmassy. But Halloween's better, so I guess it is what it is. Guys, the Grinch, I'm gonna be honest, I've never really liked the Grinch, but for some reason this year, I'm thinking about the Grinch. I remember last year, when I got my 75-inch TV, the first movie I watched on it was The Grinch with Jim Carrey. I don't know why. That I set it up and I opened Netflix and I was like, what am I gonna watch? And The Grinch popped up. I don't know. Maybe that's why. Hawkeye episode 4 tomorrow. Must watch for Vera. Ugh. I'm so over Hawkeye already. Are you gonna watch the Game Awards? No. I might, like, skim clips on, like, YouTube, but I'm not actually gonna stream it. I'm not really gonna watch it. Literally Halo Infinite, a game that isn't even out yet, a game that at that point will only be out 2 days, is on the list. That is ridiculous. Cyberpunk wasn't on last year's list because, like, it released... It was only just releasing, yet Halo isn't even out yet and it's nominated. Like, how does that make sense? That's gonna be a no for me. Animated Grinch is better than the live action, but live action, yeah, they're all bad, so just watch them all. But Dr. Seuss, he's canceled, guys. Don't forget. Don't forget. Can't have that. Wow. How could you guys support that? Oh, terrible. Wow. Halo Infinite isn't nominated for anything? Yes, it is. I believe I've been watching. People are very upset with hearing that Halo Infinite is nominated for stuff. That's Halo Infinite has been nominated for like 2 of the categories, I think. I had read also, I don't know if you guys saw, but side note, have you guys been watching the backlash from, I talked about it in a video yesterday, but Halo, the subreddit was locked over the weekend. The subreddit was still locked. People are not very happy with 343 and Halo. I understand why. I do. It's difficult because I want to be excited for it. Don't get me wrong. Like, I want to be excited for Infinite, and I am excited for Infinite. I just also wish that, I also just really wish that, I don't know. They had a lot of the features. Maybe they just should have delayed it. Also, apparently at the Game Awards, they're showing off the first trailers for the... Oh, that was loud. The Halo Infinite TV series. So, yeah. Best Battle Pass nomination. Yeah, right. I just can't believe that they thought that not having co-op in Forge and something as simple as mission select was going to go over well with people. Of course it's not going to go over well. That's just, it's so disappointing to me because I understand that companies need to take time to finish games, like 100%. And it was supposed to launch last year. And so I get it. Like, people are upset that it didn't launch last year. But you don't even have mission select. I'm honestly just so worried about the state of the game. Also, really quickly, let me check. Halo Infinite. I wanted to see if there's a length on the campaign out yet. Like if it says it's on average this length to this length. That's usually the only thing I look up for games. Halo Infinite full game length. Nope. Still not posted. Because I don't want to see, obviously, any of the spoilers. I just want to see the length of the game. Halo Infinite full game length. It says on one site, PC Games, it's 8 to 12 hours. So, yeah. I'm going to be streaming it tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern for a couple hours, and then on Saturday and Sunday. So, probably between those 3 days, we'll have it finished. Locking Reddit is lame. I agree. Master Chief is amazing. But yeah, if you guys have any last minute questions or topics you want to discuss, feel free to leave them in chat. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap up in a few. Live service games are a meme. I agree. I want companies, if they feel like live service games are going to work at some point, to keep making what they want, obviously. I don't want to discourage companies, but at the same time, it's just so difficult to support companies after failure after failure. Vera with that 75-inch flex. Yeah, last year I bought a 75-inch TV. That is my flex. Honestly, guys, I'm kind of ready for an 80, though. 75's cool and all, but, like, an 80's just better. How much is an 85-inch? Just for scientific purposes. 85-inch TV. How much is an 86-inch 4K? $2,000. Guys, suddenly... Oh, guys, suddenly I need to tell you guys, I need to start a GoFundMe for $2,000. It's for a local animal shelter. Yep, that's it. Suddenly, guys, my computer, it exploded. 2000. Suddenly, guys, my Xbox Series X lit on fire. I'm gonna need the $2,000 to replace it from scalpers. Suddenly, guys, there's lots of things that just have magically blown up, exploded. Any thoughts on X-Men Green? I talked about X-Men Green in a video. Probably like 2 weeks ago. But yeah. I think it's dumb. But then again, it's a comic series, so it probably is gonna be dumb. Not surprising. I still have a laser projector. Projectors are cool. They're just, for me, not... They're just inconvenient. They're just... They're not a bad concept, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I just... It's iffy. Like, I wouldn't spend a bunch of money on one. But everyone's got their own opinions. Oh, here come the jokes. It's all about size with women. Oh, boy. GoFundMe too. Guys, I'm a woman and I have rights, okay? The gaming industry has treated me terribly, so I'm gonna need to set up these GoFundMes. But it's green. Some comics are good, but how many? Like, none now. Like, very rarely do we get a good comic series. And the idea of just these climate change fighters and these characters who murder humans to save the earth, to save the turtles, it's not entertainment to me. It's not something I'd want to go and buy a $5 comic to read about. Or even like $3. Like, who would want who would want to spend money on a comic series that's about fighting climate change? Like, yeah, saving the turtles, great fucking idea, awesome, but murdering people to save the turtles? Yeah, that doesn't really work for me. Set up a GoFundMe for your cats to watch TV? There we go! I can put on some fish shows for the cats, some, like, birds. When I got the TV, I put on shows with birds, and they were loving it. They'd watch it again. Yeah, guys, I need your help to fight the patriarchy for the low price of 2K each. Thanks. I need to fight the patriarchy. Guys, I'm gonna start my own Kotaku. What do you think? We need to come up with a good, better name than Kotaku. Guys, Kotaku's such a joke now. I wish I could say, oh, how the mighty have fallen, but was Kotaku ever amazing in the first place? Were they ever the mighty in the first place? I don't really think so. Like, people have used them for years. I'm not trying to bash the fact that people have, because it's true. They used to write articles that gamers would care about, but now they just create nothing good. I will avenge my turtle grocery bag, man. Like, I can't believe that someone thought that was gonna make for a good comic line. Like, a turtle is dead because of a plastic grocery bag, and that's very sad. Don't get me wrong, very sad. But to go and murder people over it, I don't know. It just doesn't really sit right with me. I understand that they're out of ideas, but, like, that's your job, is to create new exciting things and to get people to buy books. And that isn't, for me, as someone who's loved comics for a very long time, who would support comics and buy comics, that to me just isn't a reason why I'd buy a comic. Is to read about climate change and killing humans because of plastic waste. I'd rather buy pumpkin spice ramen than a modern day comic. That times 100. But alright, you guys, I am going to wrap up the stream here and end in just a minute. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I do appreciate it. Like I said, tomorrow evening, I will be streaming the beginning of Halo Infinite's campaign. I'm going to be streaming for a couple hours, even though I don't usually stream on Wednesdays. It is launch day, and I'm personally really excited for the game, so make sure to stop by then. The link will be up in the afternoon after the video. If you enjoyed the stream tonight, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way. Consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. Join our Discord server. We're very active there, and I do tag you all when I go live in case YouTube doesn't notify you. Join our Discord, BitChute, Odyssey, Twitter, Minds, all that fun stuff. Links are in the description, but thank you for the donations, guys. And I'm going to wrap up here. So yeah, that's all that I had to discuss tonight. Stream tomorrow night. Links in the description. Thank you all so much for stopping by, and have a great night, everyone.